He then said, I might lose control, haha. Is it tattoo because you like sex? Are you a virgin? How many times have you done it? Is the guy outside your boyfriend? Do you know about BDSM? I didn't speak, I just froze and couldn't process what the fuck was happening. Imagine getting into that dying stage or a computer shutting down. It literally, every organ of your body starts to shut down. No message goes to your brain. You're literally frozen. You cannot think straight. You cannot act. It takes years to retrain your brain to get out of it. Hi guys, welcome to Black Sheep Tales. My name is Siksha and today I have a friend with me, Shruti.
Hi.
So today we're going to do true crime in a little different way. Today we will be reading posts directly from Reddit written by writers. I've taken explicit permission. And trigger warning, we will be discussing topics like sexual abuse, sexual assault and rape. So if this is something on a heavier side for you, I suggest please go do something that will soothe you and will calm you, and maybe skip this video and come to this later whenever you're ready to hear. Now, to all the survivors out there, be it of sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, I just want to say that, take this video as a warm hug and as a reminder that you have a safe space where you can come and share your story because your voice matters. I know it's not easy to open up to your friends and family about what you have gone through. Even if some of us do decide to open up, it's never straight away the kind of comfort and the kind of support that you need. So if you need a place to come and share your story anonymously, you can send your stories, you can send your experiences, and we will call out those assaulters. We will call out their actions publicly, and you have a safe space to share your stories. With that said, I will be giving out trigger warning before a post requires, so do not worry about that. With that, let's start our first post. Okay. So the first post is titled, Is it really so easy to declare girls as sluts? I'm going through something which might be deemed crazy, but hear me out. For context, I'm working as a team leader at a MNC and have been handling a team of 30 people since January. I happen to be the only female in my team. I have night shifts and most women prefer doing day shifts in our process. I also happen to be the youngest TL in the whole office. Every now and then, I come across rumors of me having an affair with some random other TL or manager. Sometimes even my own team members. And recent gossip was that I am the official slut just because somebody saw my profile on Bumble. This has made me turn into an antisocial person. I don't attend office parties anymore. I go on my breaks all alone, and I'm at the stage where I can't even talk to someone without having anxiety about me being the target of new gossip. It's got kinda lonely for me, as now I'm the only one who's forgot what fun is, don't have any friends, and practically stuck with the resting bitch face while at work. Is this something you all go through as well? If yes, how do you guys deal with it? So that's our first post.
So, firstly, I want to appreciate the OP that she is handling 30 people and she's the youngest TL, which is commendable, and I'm proud of her. But the office environment is not good. Like, her hard work is not been credited well, and slut shaming is not appropriate at workplace.
As you said, kudos to OP to be able to manage a team of 30 people. It's not easy to navigate any workplace. And if you're managing 30 people, I can't even imagine the stress she's going through. And on top of that, her colleagues are adding the stress of verbal harassment. They're spreading gossips. They are literally insulting her and spreading negative comments. So all of this seems to be stemming from jealousy,
Yep.
yeah, and insecurity. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have never been jealous. I'm not going to be all pretentious over here. But to pull someone down because of that, because you cannot just accept the fact that you did not get to that position because of your own incapability. So you start looking for other reasons to blame their success.
Yep. And she might be doing so much hard work, and why people want to pull her down, like
Like, why can't they accept the fact that you did not work as hard as OP did? Okay, even if we take out gender out of the equation for a moment, they cannot just surely accept the fact that, oh, someone younger, someone more capable than me exists. They've put in more hard work, and I was just slacking around, or, I did not put in as much work as OP did.
yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like slut shaming happens for such trivial reasons. I mean, sometimes even for the stupidest of reasons. I was on Reddit and I was kind of like looking what people have gone through. And one of the girls wrote, she has been slut shamed for wearing red nail paint. I mean, I understand the stigma around the color red, that, often young girls are told not to wear red lipstick or red this or red that. But to get slut shamed for that, and another one wrote that she got slut shamed for black nail paint. I was like, how stupid are these things that girls are getting literally slut shamed for these? And I've known someone to whom this happened, and they were literally being slut shamed because they started hitting puberty and their body was developing.
I mean, that's the natural thing, right?
Yeah. And on top of that, I feel like women, they get slut shamed. They're subjected to slut shame by both the genders. It's not just men, it's not just women, but both of them. And it usually starts at your schools. I mean, go back to your school days. You either it has happened to you, or either you must have heard it happening to someone else, where teachers are making a disgusting face and they're just like, I know why you're wearing that skirt, why you're wearing that short skirt. In their mind, the length of that skirt is so inappropriate that they start slut shaming. Obviously, it does not comes with the word slut, but they will start saying very subtle things. I know you're doing this for boys. I know why you're doing this. Or, they start judging you for your choice of hairstyle, or for you, like your choice of wearing a lip balm.
Yeah, even I remember such thing from school. Like, teacher used to bash up things like you are doing for boys, but that's not the thing, right? We do something for us, which makes us happy.
Yeah, exactly. And these teachers are supposed to be a protector. Like, they're supposed to protect us from such harassment, if it comes from someone, not enable it. I really, really hope that, it has changed, because I was in school, 6 or 7 years ago. So I really hope this has changed and teachers have started to realize the sensitivity of the issue, how their words actually impact young girls and give them trauma for years to come. Like, I've been carrying this literal thing with me. So there was a senior of mine, a very pretty girl, very popular in our school. Uh, but there was a rumor about her. So her name was Simran, but boys used to merge her name with the Hindi R word of slut.
Okay.
And it didn't matter how sweet she was to you, it didn't matter other things that she did. That was her preceding reputation. If you knew about her, which you did because she was very popular, you knew this thing also about her. What was the basis of it? Mm, I don't know.
And people might judge her for that.
Yeah, because that's the first thing you're getting to know. If you know about this person, this rumor comes along with her. And there's no basis to it. We don't know why it was started. We don't know who started it. But it doesn't even matter, why it was started. It shouldn't have started in first place. And usually, I think rumor starts because someone cannot have a girl, and the only thing how they can justify is that, oh, she wants to be with other guys too, so you know what, she's such a slut, that's why she's saying no to me. I mean, usually that's how it starts, and it keeps on spreading, and people keep on adding to the fire, over analyzing even a little bit of I don't know, behavior or gestures, things like that. They will start to overanalyze. But I really, really find it so. Like, I'm very curious about this. How do these people even feel entitled to give such an opinion? Even, the teachers, how do they feel so entitled to suddenly slut shaming a 11-year, 12-year, 30-year-old girl just because of her hairstyle choice, just because her skirt length is a little bit above knee? How? How do they feel so entitled?
I hope this is not the case now. Like, people are more sensitive towards this. But back then, it was very serious. Like, everyone used to to point out your mistake, and the teacher used to tell us in front of class. And
Like they used to shame it publicly. Yeah.
so getting pointed out in front of whole school or whole class, that is even more traumatic.
Mm. Have you heard of that Kusha Kapila's reel where she was saying something like, one of her Hindi teachers, she pointed out to her in front of whole class and she was like, girls like you, girls like her. And I related to that so much because we have seen that happening to so many of our friends, and we haven't been able to say anything against the teachers because we are supposed to respect them. We cannot say anything against them. That's how our school system, basically
And
Indian school
even if
system
we
is.
go against teacher, our marks would have been deducted,
Or you are actually, yelled at because you stood up to a teacher, they are your elder, and you're supposed to respect someone just because they're elder than you or just because they're at a position of power. Anyways, I'm gonna read the top comment over here. So, immediately report this to HR and get proof of these people saying shitty things about you. This is not a healthy work culture. So OPS replied, the HR was no help, gave me a very long lecture, basically telling me to suck it up.
well, your HR is at fault.
I agree.
Because if any employee has any problem, the first person is HR, whom she or he will talk. And if HR is not supporting, then who? Where should someone go?
Ideally, we want to lean on our HR whenever things like these happen, whenever there's workplace harassment, it doesn't matter what kind, whether it's sexual, whether it's verbal. HR is the first person that you goes toward because they will be the one to solve it civilly, right?
Yeah, and they are the face of organization.
Ideally, we want HR to step out of their official duties and kind of like give this message out to all of the employees that sexual harassment, or for that matter any sort of harassment, will not be tolerated. It won't be taken lightly. You won't be given the same kind of respect that your other colleagues get, who respect someone's privacy, who kind of like doesn't violate someone or harasses someone. But the thing is that HR doesn't work for employees, they work for organization. Right, organization is the one that pays HR. So I found this out that you have to make HR help you. I know it's very tiring, but it's like you have to collect the evidence on your own. You have to document all of the things on your own. You go to HR and maybe they'll take it a bit more seriously. Okay. Because they'll always try to kind of like subside the situation so that it is in the favor of organization.
But it's HR responsibility.
I know. Exactly. I mean, I feel like it's very subjective to HRs how they deal with a harassment complaint, whether they take it seriously or whether they don't want to deal with it right now. So it's very subjective, and sometimes they'll try to kind of like get away from the accountability of it, or they'll try to subside it, or they'll tell you to kind of like just deal with it or adjust somehow if it's not too serious. That's what they try to do. Do I wish it wasn't like that? Yes. But you should, if you are in that situation, you should maybe start documenting things so that you don't leave any room for HR to kind of like just tell you to suck it up.
But sometimes getting a documentation is difficult.
I know, that's why I said it was so tiring. But when your HR is of no help, you should maybe look into it. And again, it depends upon every HR, right? How they want to deal with it. Because they're the first person who comes in contact with it. And most of the times they'll try to not make a big deal of it. But I really hope that HR kind of like, at least tries to give out this message to all of the employees that sexual harassment or any harassment will not be tolerated. And over here, OP is getting harassed. It's a verbal harassment. There are being rumors spread about OP, and that has started to affect her life. Okay, she has started to isolate. She's having no fun. I mean, even if we leave the usual chit chat at a workplace out of the question, she's still a human being, and human beings are social animals. They thrive on social interaction. So she cannot just work for 8 hours without interacting with anyone. And how is she supposed to manage a team of 30 people then?
Yeah, and our most of the life goes in working. We are most of the time at work. And if you are not happy there, then what's the point of working there?
Exactly. That just adds on to toxicity of the situation, right? So someone has commented this would be helpful. Um, if you have proof, then you should complain under POSH. Companies take this very seriously, and the investigating committee will not be made up of only HR people. Meanwhile, start looking to change jobs. This sounds like terrible work environment. There are a lot of comments supporting OP and telling her to basically look for other
Yeah.
jobs.
Even I feel like she should change her job.
But the thing is, I get it. She should look into changing jobs, but then how does she even make sure that the next workplace she goes to, she is not surrounded by immature idiots again?
Until and unless she goes and sees the thing.
I know, but there's no way to make sure that the next place she goes to is not filled up with immature idiots. And it's not easy to pick up your life after every time after 6 months when you're surrounded by such idiots. That is so unstable. You have no career growth, you have no personal growth. You're literally stuck in adjusting to a new organization. And if it happens every time, I don't think that's a viable option. If it is too toxic, obviously she should look into it. But another thing she could try is just try to put these people back into their place. Just because they say it doesn't makes it their reality, kind of thing. And the person who started spreading the rumor that she's the official office slut just because she was on Bumble, weren't you on Bumble too? Like, by your logic, what shall we start calling you then? I mean, yeah. What I want to say basically can be summed up by this comment. And the person who has commented, the tag that has been given to them is Bougie Chudel. Okay, so the comment goes like, might be insensitive thing to say, but just because they said it doesn't mean it's true. And you expecting even the bare minimum from them at this point is only going to cause you more distress. Find your comfort people outside their circle of misogyny. You stay on every dating app as long as you need, and you better not feel even an ounce of shame for it. I will personally voodoo a smack if you keep behaving like you can be pushed around by a bunch of brain dead idiots. It is very easy to declare someone a slut. What's not easy for these people is appreciating the people around them. They're appalled at the fact how dare a young female TL exist. What next? A female manager, CEO, the society is doomed. The apocalypse is right around the corner. Hi there. By the way, my friends group considers slut a compliment. If that makes you feel better, what's better than being in control of your sexuality and how you live your life? Hence, you go slut. OPS replied to this comment, I really needed this, thank you. This literally feels like it's coming from an older sister, who has gone through such things, and she's like, don't put up with this nonsense and just put these guys back in place. And I love every bit of this comment.
And take everything positively.
Yeah. And with that, that was our first post. Now let's move on to our second one. Let's take a little break. Okay, let's move to our second post. Now, I'm going to give out trigger warning. We'll be talking about sexual assault and rape in this one. So, if this is something you cannot handle today, if this is too heavy, please skip the video and I will see you next time. Okay. The post is titled, I Can't Feel, Trigger Warning, Sexual Assault, Rape. I've been trying to feel something about all of this, and I've so far come up with nothing. I've only spoken to two friends, a guy friend, and my parents about this, and they're all so angry about what happened, and yet I'm just numb. It's only been a week, and I still don't feel like I've had something traumatic happen to me. A week ago, I went with a guy friend of mine to a tattoo studio in Kochi, Kerala. It's a really famous studio. Their Instagram page has over 40K followers and they have major celebrities visiting them. I also had another tattoo done at the same place for which my mom accompanied me. The new tattoo I had in mind looked like it had sexual innuendo, and so I didn't slowly specify where I was going to my mom. Anyway, all was fine and I reached the place alone at first, decided on the tattoo and its placement, and since the position was on my lower back, I was more comfortable getting it done privately. That is, in a closed room where he usually does celebrity tattoos. I was wearing high waisted jeans, so I had to unbutton and loosen it down to my hip. He started his work and I felt comfortable. All was okay, it was painful, and so I asked for a break after he was done with the outline. Took my break, and that's when my friend showed up. We just sat outside chilling and talking. And that's when he said he had to drop his wife home, and so he'll be back and then he'll resume the work. I was okay with that. Ironically, I had mentioned to my friend how this place made me feel more comfortable than most hospitals would have made me feel. Little did I know, he came back after 20 minutes. It was already getting a bit late. I had to get back home by 6 and it was already 4:30. He resumed the work, except this time he started asking me questions. Are you a feminist? What is the meaning behind your tattoo? All normal at first, then he asked how old I was. I answered because you have to be 18 to be there without a guardian. I was 18, but now that I think about it, I probably should have lied and said I was a minor because he would have been more scared to do anything. He then said, I might lose control, haha. The tattooing sound was loud, so I didn't quite understand what that meant, and I ignored it. My tattoo was basically an eye with angelic wings that looked like a female genitalia, and so he started getting a little too personal and started making me feel uncomfortable. Is it tattoo because you like sex? Are you a virgin? How many times have you done it? Is the guy outside your boyfriend? Do you know about BDSM? I'm a people pleaser and I didn't know how to deflect and just get up and, I don't know, fucking slap the guy. So I just laughed all of his questions off. I was also a bit scared because he had a goddamn needle on my spine. That's when he started loosening up my jeans more. He did ask if I was okay with it. And I said yeah, because my dumbass genuinely thought it was because he was getting to the lower parts of the tattoo. Then he started holding my stomach up for support and pulling me towards him. That's when my instinct kicked in, but I was terrified of moving and I never thought he'd have the audacity to do something. And this motherfucker just removed my pants while he still had the needle on me, and then went into my underwear and started doing whatever he had gloves on and asked me if I was on my period. I didn't speak, I just froze and couldn't process what the fuck was happening. I wasn't on my period, but I guess I was spotting. So he stopped tattooing and took a tissue wipe down there and went on to use his finger to do whatever. And then he stood me up, bent me over, and again asked if I liked BDSM. First off, I wanted to puke from the pain of tattooing. I was so nauseous, I thought I'd faint. I said nothing, and the asshole tattooed me while I was bent over and made it more painful somehow. I didn't speak a word. I didn't say stop. I didn't say no. I just felt like dying right there on the spot for being so stupid. Then he just turned me around and kissed me, and then he removed his pants and had sex with me from behind without a condom. My phone started ringing then, and that was the first time I spoke. And I said, it's my mom, and I have to go back home. He said, okay, fucking wipe down there again, and said, the tattoo is incomplete, so come back on Tuesday. You don't have to pay for it. I felt so disgusted. I went out, pretended like nothing happened, asked my friend to just drop me home, and that was the end. Told two of my friends, thought nobody would believe me because I was so fucking stupid about it. But they did, and I love them. They told my parents for me. Parents got emergency pill because no condom, and asked a family friend who is lawyer about how we could get justice. But she said there isn't an eyewitness and no evidence down there, and unless somebody else had the same experience, we won't get anywhere with this because there isn't any precedence. I still wasn't mad. I just thought it was all my fault, which I guess is normal, but I feel like I could have maybe done things differently and this wouldn't have happened. This is probably too long and I don't think anyone will read this, but at least it's out there. Please text if you have any information. This is a
This is
heavy one.
heavy one.
Mm. I have read this post earlier because I had to ask permission from OP, but every time I read it, it just keeps on angering me more and more. You know, whenever you have been sexually abused, sexually assaulted, or raped, you're going through so many emotions. You start to self blame and you start to self hate for not being able to do anything about it. Or, you know, you're getting into depression at the same time. You're having nightmares, you're having flashbacks of what you went through. There's so much going on. And I just want to say, OP, it wasn't your fault, okay? The body, the reaction that your body had was so normal. it literally went into freeze mode and you couldn't do anything about it. People usually think, freezing is an optional thing. It is not. Literally, you do not have control over your body getting into that freeze condition. Imagine getting into that dying stage or a computer shutting down. It literally, every organ of your body starts to shut down. No message goes to your brain. You're literally frozen. You cannot think straight. You cannot act. It's like, and it usually happens to, kids who have been into threatening situation as a kid, and the assaulter was someone in position of power. I mean, imagine a kid being assaulted by a family member. They know they cannot run away from this person. They know they cannot stand up to this person. So the only option that they have of survival is to let it happen, and they will be safe from the situation. And it becomes your natural response to a threatening situation. You don't have to be in a real threatening situation. You just have to, you know your mind just have to think that you are under a threatening situation, and you will automatically go into that freeze response. It is not in your control.
And your OP is too young to understand what is happening.
Yeah, she's too young, and on top of that, you see, he had her in a vulnerable position. Usually when someone assaults someone or rapes someone, basically a rapist, they do not do it because they are sexually attracted to this person. It's not usually because they find them sexy. It's usually because they're able to have them in a vulnerable condition, and literally OP is under the needle at this point, and he puts her through more pain. She's already under that freeze response. He's making her go through a lot more pain for that tattoo, and she's not able to do anything about it. I mean, it's literally either try and say something about it and see what I can do with this needle, or just endure this. And OP's body did whatever it could to save herself in that situation. OP, if you're listening this, I know you're constantly thinking what else you could have done, what could you have done differently so that it wouldn't have happened to you. But what you're thinking right now, what you could have done, and that situation when it happened, those were different circumstances. You didn't had control. Right now, you are in a much more comfortable space where your mind is thinking straight, you know, your body's functioning properly. But back then, you were literally in such a vulnerable condition, in a threatening circumstances, and that was a natural response that your body had. You tried your best to survive in that situation. Please do not blame yourself.
Yeah, I'm shocked after listening to this story. It's I can't even imagine what the OP must have gone through.
And she
Like,
might
she
be
just
going
go
through
went for a tattoo and she got raped. Like,
like it was such a normal, exciting experience that she was going to have, but it turned into a lifelong trauma. And I really hope Opie is doing better now. But I am so glad Opie was surrounded with these really good friends. But
even her family member is supportive. In many of the cases, family member only don't support this kind of things.
yeah, and her parents straight away took her to hospital to get her tested and have a rape kit. And they also took her to a lawyer. Obviously, the advice that lawyer gave was not good. It was shitty. But she had immense support, and I'm so glad she was able to get it. Because when you have been abused, when you have been raped, there's so much going on in your mind that you kind of like start to lose the sense of reality, and you start to gaslight yourself into believing, because you don't want to believe that it happened to you. You don't want to put yourself in that situation that it actually happened. So you start to gaslight yourself into thinking, no, this did not happen, and you start to lose some details that might be useful to get this man behind bars.
And OP is brave enough to at least talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
He just casually did what he did.
It seems like, it was premeditated. Okay, it shouldn't matter whether it was premeditated or in the spur of the moment, but it seems like he's done this usually. Like, it's such a usual thing for him. He's testing the waters, and then he puts her into vulnerable situation. Like, he knows how to put her in that vulnerable situation. And actually, after this, I did look into this case, and there were so many more people who have been affected, who have been abused, who have been raped by this man. and there's a legal case out there for him. I don't know whether OP did sue him, or there was a case done by OP, but there were other people who did that. And the comment section is so supportive for OP. They have been trying to gather information if it has happened to other people also. Um, I would say this comment section is so great. There's been edit by OP, and she said, she's basically told the name of this place. This place is called Infected Tattoo Studio, run by Sujesh. There's another edit. I thank all of you for the support. Honestly, makes me feel so emotional. Also, if you're from Kochi, please do spread the word. And look at OP. She's trying to, let other people know about this place so that others do not fall into this man's trap. And that is so brave, because at this time I know OP must be going through so many emotions, so many emotions. The top comment says, please go to a local hospital and ask for a rape kit. They can get the sample of his DNA in your private parts. I'm so sorry, OP. I wish I could hug you and say it's gonna be okay. Okay. There are a lot of comments about lawyer. What kind of crap lawyer did you consult? Does that idiot lawyer thinks rapes happen with witness around to corroborate the chain of events? I'm so angry that I can barely type because I'm shaking with rage. File an official complaint. This is rape. Evidence is always circumstantial. You can file a rape complaint years after the rape takes place. You only need your own testimony. He's likely raped other women, and they have all been quiet about it. I'm just so angry.
Yeah, even this is making me angry.
Every time, like, I have read this multiple
That
times.
person is talking about BDSM to an 18-year-old girl.
But it doesn't matter to these rapists, what is the age of the victim. If they thought like a sane person, if they had that sensitivity in them, they wouldn't be doing things like that.
He's just taking advantage of her.
Of her and of million other girls. I really wish I've not followed the case, what happened to this man, but I really, really, really wish that he was put behind bars and justice was served. I really hope. And anyone, survivors, please, I know the first thing that we do is to start blame ourselves, but you did your best. Whatever you could do in that situation to keep yourself safe, to keep living, to keep surviving, you did. We often go back to, the incident, and we start thinking, what could we have done better? If I wouldn't have said this, maybe this wouldn't have happened. It's not your fault. Those rapists, those sexual abusers, they have deranged reasons in their mind, and you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know how they will take a certain thing. You did your best. But there's another thing that I do want to mention about freeze responses, that it takes years to retrain your brain to get out of it, but there is help available out there. Usually you have to get into therapy, but we were earlier talking about therapy, and Shruti pointed out, that it's not easy for people to get into therapy because it's expensive. So there are free resources available out there, and I will link some of the videos. One of the videos I really found very helpful. So as I said earlier, your body starts to get into that shutdown mode. So to get yourself back into that reality and start moving your muscles, you can try this very simple thing, that is basically try and opening your eyes. This literally starts, like, restarts your muscles in your body. It might or might not work for you. You will have to try it, give it some tries. But yeah, I will link all of these resources down below so that you can check it out, or you can share it with someone who usually gets into a freeze response in a threatening situation.
And I feel like there should be some like education should be given from early age to the girls, that what should they do or react to such situation. Like they are mentally prepared for this situation, something like that.
Yeah, if it's not at schools, it should start at home. I know the conversation around, sexual things, be it sex, be it sexual abuse, be it bad touch or good touch, are so stigmatized, and it is changing. But I really, really hope that parents do start giving these conversations. I know these are awkward, but these are very necessary, because world is full of shitty people out there. who are ready to pounce on any opportunity that they get. But yeah.
Like when I was in school, no one taught me about bad touch and good touch. But now I guess they are teaching these things.
Yeah, I saw one of the videos of a teacher. She was a teacher in a government school, and she was teaching all of her female students, male students too, about good touch and bad touch. And that is so, so, so necessary, because it's usually someone who's very close to you that tries this, your family members, your extended relatives, friends that you know, family friends that your parents so like trust blindly, and they're the ones that violate you, they're the ones that abuse you, rape you. um I really, really hope that adults in our life start realizing how important these conversations are. Awkward, but they're very, very, very important. With that, I will conclude today's episode. And if you want to share your story, if you want to put it out in the world, what you have been through, you have a safe space. You can send your stories anonymously. If you want, you can post them on Reddit. If you want, you can send them personally to me. Whatever it is, please let me know in the comments and I will create that platform. And please stay safe. And I will see you in next episode.